This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Wednesday, January 25th, and today's pod, for a very particular reason, is the best one yet.
Nick and I are in the flesh.
Yes.
In San Francisco.
You look fantastic.
This studio has the best view I've ever seen.
It's like a seal over there, a porpoise over there, or maybe
so
it's not.
much marine activity.
Yeah, there is. It is a very Aquarian kind of a scene.
Yetis, we are on the San Francisco Bay because tomorrow we are interviewing a fantastic founder for a bonus pod.
It's kind of going to be a surprise. Do we know it's going to be?
Bonus pod next week.
Next week. In the meantime, Jack, what's our first story for today's pod?
Remember that Taylor Swift ticket drama from last year?
Do I ever, Jack?
Well, Ticketmaster just testified before Congress on the future of concert tickets.
Second story, what do we got?
Amazon just launched a $5 a month subscription for unlimited generic drugs.
Hook 'em with the outrageously low prices. Book 'em with Prime.
For our third and final story, we've got the US dollar, the euro. We may soon have a third power currency.
A third power currency. Argentina and Brazil just announced plans for a shared currency. Muito obrigado.
But Yetis, before we hit that fantastic mix.
A wonderful mix with all that marine life as well, Jack.
Last week, we told you about Netflix's earnings report.
Yeah, we also told you the CEO of Netflix is stepping down.
There was one thing about Netflix we didn't tell you.
Yeah, there was one thing buried in that Netflix news we didn't say.
Netflix is hiring for one very specific role.
Get this, Netflix is hiring a flight attendant.
But not just any flight attendant.
No, not just any flight attendant. No,
They
no,
are
no.
going to pay this flight attendant $385,000.
Okay, so Jack and I repeat, Netflix,
The media tech company,
is hiring a flight attendant
for their airplane
and paying that flight attendant like a prince.
They're paying up to $385,000 a year for this private jet flight attendant
to work on a PJ.
So Nick and I jumped in T-Boy style to the job description that's publicly available.
Okay, first of all, Yetis, you must be able to assist with purchasing aircraft snacks.
Second, you must be able to lift up to 30 pounds and help the passengers with luggage.
Third, you must be able to stand for long periods of time.
This is the opposite of the Netflix binging experience.
This does not work if you actually enjoy watching Netflix.
But the reason Netflix is going to pay so much for this flight attendant...
Why are they going to pay so much for this G6 job, Jack?
Because it's not about handling passengers.
No.
It's about handling information.
Netflix said that it is of the utmost importance that this person exhibit discretion.
Discretion. Because you'll be on board with some celebrity actors and actresses.
Besties, you're going to be privy to the private powwows of some very powerful power people.
Spielberg.
Yeah.
Nice to see you again.
Yetis, if you got this job, you're going to know who the killer is in Glass Onion
You're
before
going to know
anyone
who
else.
the Demigorgon in season 14 of Stranger Things
You're
is.
going to know if Emily is in Paris.
This isn't a job we're talking about.
No, it is not. This is one giant spoiler alert.
Discretion is of the utmost importance.
But Yetis, before we offer you this job, are you ready, willing, and able to assist in the event of an emergency?
We need to hear you say yes.
Can you put your seatbelt and tray tables in their full upright and locked positions?
Thank you for applying in the friendly skies with Netflix.
We'll be starting our podcast shortly.
Can we just take off?
Not until you put your phone into airplane mode, sir.
Ooh, actually, can you slide that bag under the chair in front of you?
You gotta be kidding me. Oh my God.
Thanks. Let's hit our three stories.
15 years before this song, two boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, the Taylor Swift ticket hearings finally happened on Capitol Hill yesterday.
The crime under investigation?
What is it, Jack?
Depriving the Swifties of tickets to Taylor's summer concert tour.
Third-degree deprivation of tickets to the Swifties, Jack. Immediate justice.
Spoiler. In Washington, D.C. yesterday, Taylor was not there.
She was in Nashville.
The senators brought their Sharpies, they brought their posters, but their children were disappointed because no autographs were made.
Well, Jack, there was no star at yesterday's Capitol Hill Taylor Swift hearings, but there was one villain.
A big villain.
Yeah.
Ticketmaster.
Because in November, Yetis, Ticketmaster completely botched that entire pre-sale for Taylor Swift's summer tour.
Ticketmaster, owned by $18 billion Live Nation. This is a company that holds a monopoly on live events in the United States.
But here's the thing, besties. It wasn't the $30 ticket fees or those convenient fees or the fees that caused an uprising with Taylor Swift's concert.
No, what got Ticketmaster before Capitol Hill was the pressure of millions of furious Swifties.
So yesterday, Republicans and Democrats got together in a united way and did their favorite thing. What is it, Jack?
They took turns berating the president of Live Nation on C-SPAN.
In front of a live studio audience. Yeti's Live Nation's president apologized, but blamed this whole debacle on the Swifties.
If so many Swifties hadn't gone to the website wouldn't have crashed.
And then he also blamed the automated scalper bots that buy up a lot of concert tickets.
Ticket buying robots are a real problem, and they turn a real profit. That's unfair.
Now, that's what the president of Live Nation said. But the senators of the United States named a very specific culprit.
The senators blamed this whole fiasco on competition. Sorry, lack of competition in the ticketing space.
Because Ticketmaster hasn't upgraded their computers to avoid outages.
Because they haven't had to.
And Ticketmaster reportedly takes home 72% of concert revenues, yet won't give artists a bigger slice.
Because they don't have to.
And why does Ticketmaster not have to do these things, Jack?
Because they dominate the live events industry. 70% of live events and ticketing in the United States.
Yeah, that Live Nation theocracy we all live in, it's one reason that concert ticket prices have quadrupled since 1996.
For those keeping score, that is double the rate of inflation because Ticketmaster is a monopoly.
The problem is you, Ticketmaster. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for the anti-heroes over at Live Nation?
The biggest threat to Ticketmaster isn't the government, it's Taylor Swift herself.
Okay, Yetis, senators were so angry yesterday at Ticketmaster, they asked the Justice Department to undo the 2010 merger that created this ticket monopoly.
But here's the thing. It's really hard for the government to split up a big corporation.
It's really hard because the power of our institutions to reel in corporate power, it's weakened.
But while the government powers have weakened, you know what power has strengthened?
What power, Jack?
The power of individual megastars like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, while institutions have weakened, stars have gained power thanks to social media.
If Taylor Swift and some other big musical stars got behind another ticketing service,
interesting,
that would be the biggest threat to Live Nation there is.
So today, those Live Nation executives are probably patting themselves on the backs for surviving a grilling by angry senators.
Because Ticketmaster isn't afraid of senators.
No, it's not.
They're afraid of Taylor Swift.
For our second story, Amazon just launched a shocking new subscription. Get this, $5 gets you as many drugs as you want.
Basically free pills.
Honestly, I don't even feel comfortable saying that thing.
Basically free pills is how Amazon hooks us before they book us.
It's an all-you-can-eat buffet of ibuprofen.
Yetis, Amazon announced yesterday they are doubling down on one thing, healthcare.
Honestly, Amazon looks less like e-commerce and more just like a doctor these days.
We're checking the medical history. Amazon acquired PillPack in 2018. They launched their own telehealth service in 2020.
Keep going, Jack. What
Last
else?
year, they acquired something you're a member of, Nick,
True
and I
story.
used to be a member of.
Yeah.
One Medical, primary care.
It's not a doctor office, it's a club.
And Amazon has a wearable we all forgot
I
about.
forgot about that wearable.
The Halo wrist thing. It lets Alexa track your high blood pressure. Alexa's cough twice. And this is because Dr. Bezos knows there is one thing you'll reliably spend money on.
Your body.
But at the same time, there's one thing you wish you could spend less money on.
The healthcare for your body.
Which leads to yesterday's news. Amazon launched RX Pass.
RX Pass.
RX because for some reason that's the abbreviation of pharmacy in this country.
Feels like someone's going to send in a fact of the day about that.
So for $5 a month, you get an unlimited number of prescription generic drugs.
That $5 a month price is on top of your Prime membership, but it includes 50 generic drugs.
Now, Nick and I had to look twice at this one.
We did.
Not $5 a month plus the price of the drugs.
We sat down, stood up, and laid down again.
It's $5 a month for as many prescriptions as you need.
So, besties, if you have a headache or an allergy or acid reflux or anxiety or asthma. Actually, if you have all of those combined, you can get a prescription generics for all 5 for $5.
Just $5 a month, not $25.
Yeah.
$5 a month for 5 prescription medications.
Again, we don't even feel comfortable saying that this is a thing.
And we jumped in T-Boy style to who this is going to impact.
And what are the numbers, Jack?
150 million Americans take at least one of the medications that this subscription provides.
Let's sprinkle a little context on here. This prescription subscription covers half of the United States population.
It would be useful for at least half of Americans.
But here's like the one thing Jack and I keep wondering about it.
150 million Americans.
Yeah.
That's how many already use Prime.
So is this really about getting new customers?
Maybe it's about getting old customers who aren't Prime members yet.
Maybe it's about our takeaway, Jack. I don't want to interrupt you over there, but it felt like a takeaway moment. Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Amazon?
This is your classic case of hook 'em and book 'em.
Hook 'em and book 'em. Yetis, we haven't seen the business plan to this thing, but we're pretty sure about one thing. Amazon is not making money on this deal.
$5 for an all-you-can-pop buffet of pills?
Yeah, analysts agree they're going to lose a lot of money on this thing.
But if you're relying on Amazon for your recurring medical needs, that is valuable to Amazon.
Maybe you think, hey, I'm getting monthly pill deliveries and they're working. I'll get other subscriptions delivered by Amazon too.
Hey, Amazon keeps emailing me now about One Medical. Maybe I'll use them for my primary care.
So with RX Pass, Amazon is hooking you with the low-cost prescription drugs.
But then it books you with its other healthcare offerings, its other subscriptions, and the rest of Prime.
And it's all part of Amazon's long-term plan.
Hook them.
Yeah.
And then eventually book them. Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
A lot of Yetis don't realize how much prep work goes into this pod.
We spend hours every morning jumping in T-Boy style to earnings reports, CEO tweets, breaking news headlines.
Yeah, Jack and I are toggling tabs like you toggled IM convos in 2004.
Having 8 tabs open can be stressful. You don't need that, especially when investing.
Robinhood offers it all in one app.
Whether you want to trade options, ETFs, or stocks through Robinhood Financial,
Or you want to buy some Bitcoin on Robinhood Crypto.
you can do it all on the Robinhood app.
If you're not investing in Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/Tboy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood.
For our third and final story, even though Jack just arrived in San Francisco and didn't bring me any white chocolate, felt like that was a pretty easy layup, Jack.
I am in the doghouse in this relationship, aren't I?
I had popcorn waiting for you, and then I'm empty-handed as I receive you.
Do I get no credit for the birthday balloons?
No, you get full credit for the birthday balloons. You get full credit forever for those birthday
That was
balloons.
this week.
That was an amazing week. That was an amazing balloon. Yetis, for our third and final story, Brazil and Argentina are planning the ultimate financial wedding right now, a joint currency.
We love currency weddings.
We love currency weddings.
But we're not sure these two are right for each other.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
But first, some Latin.
Please, Jack, E pluribus unum.
E pluribus unum.
Those Latin words are the foundation of our dollar bills, y'all.
Out of many, one.
Yeah, because the United States, we aren't just a country. If you think about it, the United States is actually a great currency marriage.
In this currency union, all 50 states use and share the same currency.
Well, Europe pulled off a more complicated version of that currency wedding.
In Europe, they got 20 separate countries to share the euro. That's impressive.
Which leads to the big news.
Brazil and Argentina just announced this week they want their own currency wedding too.
Now, this new currency couple will not be called Brangelina, but apparently they do want to call the currency the Sir.
Brazil and Argentina's presidents would call this the Sir, and it would eventually become the shared currency of all Latin America.
That's right, Yetis. They would be inviting other Latin American nations to join in this marriage of currencies too.
It's an open relationship down there, Nick.
No judgments. We're totally cool with it. In the meantime, Yetis, here's what we found fascinating about this story. If Brazil and Argentina pull it off, the economic benefits of a single market would be huge.
First, trade.
Yes.
Trade. Firms could trade across borders and not worry about foreign exchange rates.
For example, prices on Brazilian cachaça could fall for Argentinians because they cut the foreign exchange fees.
And the prices of Argentine beef could fall for Brazilians because there's no foreign exchange fees to worry about.
Oh, and it's not just that. Foreign investment in South America, that could surge if they get a currency marriage.
The international community sees strength in numbers in South America.
Oh, and then let's talk about the peace, Jack.
Peace.
Peace. Beautiful peace.
Shared currencies strengthen ties among its diverse users. Just look at Europe.
Big fans of peace.
But there's one catch to currency marriages.
There is one catch that Jack and I should mention. What is it, Jack?
Between this two proposed couple, they don't even speak the same language.
Did we just stand up and say, we object to this union, Jack?
We're not forever holding our peace, Nick.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who we love down in Brazil and Argentina?
They're neighbors, but we're not sure they're right for each other.
So, Yetis, Wall Street gave no reaction to this news because they don't think it's going to happen.
Nick and I look at these two countries, and opposites attract.
We love the countries.
But these two countries may be a little too opposite economically.
Yeah, because for one, Brazil is on a totally different economic level than Argentina.
Argentina's got a bad history of inflation and financial crises that could be a red flag for Brazil.
Second, several times over decades, they've talked about this joint currency relationship idea, but nothing's happened.
Yeah, if there was a dating app for currency hookups, these two would be labeled flaky.
And honestly, if it does happen, it would take decades of political and institutional preparation.
Creating a joint currency is not as easy as like going to your bank and opening a joint bank account.
So the way we see it, creating the euro of South America, that would yield huge economic benefits.
But even though these two are neighbors, we're not sure they're right for each other.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us over there? And let me know where you want to go to dinner tonight.
Rat House.
Oh.
I'm getting that Döner kebab.
You're thinking schnitzel, aren't you?
In the shadow of the Golden Gate Bridge,
Oh.
a German-themed, bicycle-loving restaurant with Kolsch. Come on.
It's not a restaurant, it's an experience.
Yeah, these Ticketmaster survived its public shaming from the U.S. Senate yesterday.
Ticketmaster's greatest threat isn't the government, it's T-Swift.
For our second story, Amazon just announced a $5 a month unlimited generic drug subscription.
Amazon's always done this. Here's the deal. Hook 'em and then book 'em.
In our third and final story, the presidents of Brazil and Argentina announced plans for a shared currency.
They're neighbors, but when it comes to currencies, Wall Street's just not sure they're right for each other.
They object.
Now, time for the best fact yet. This one's sent in by Nick Locicero from Queens, New York.
This one's wild. Lemons aren't natural.
Yeah, get this. Lemons are actually the first man-made fruit.
This is wild. 4,000 years ago in East Asia, people began crossbreeding fruit to create new fruits.
And the lemon, the basic lemon, was among the first to do this. It's actually a hybrid of an orange and a citron.
I know what you're thinking. What's a citron?
We Googled it.
It's a shriveled, old, uglier version of a lemon.
We wish we hadn't Googled it.
So life doesn't actually give you lemons at all.
No.
Even if you're making lemonade out of it.
In fact, you could say people give you lemons.
People give you lemons.
Yetis, you look fantastic today. Jack, fantastic to have you here. I know you got Spätzle on the mind.
Get on over here and give me a big hug.
You got schnitzel and sauerkraut on the mind.
You're getting
over
a bear hug.
there. All right, come over here.
Oh.
We'll see you tomorrow. And before we go, happy birthday to Yeti Lauren in Agua Dulce, California, just outside Los Angeles.
And happy birthday to Jake Tan in Castro Valley, California.
And Christian Spear Schneider, happy birthday in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
And shout out to Mifa, the German Shepherd who loves celebrating Kristen's birthday.
Yetis, if you want a shout out on this pod, all you got to do is fill out the form that we put in every episode description.
There's a link right in this episode. Fill it out. You get your shout out.
We'll get you that shout out.
And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a T-Boy.
Celebrate the wins.
This is Jack. I own stock of Amazon and Netflix, and Nick and I both own stock of Robinhood. We both have some US dollars. Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
A lot of you listen to our show while you're driving.
2 hands on the wheel. Keep it 10 and 2.
You might be cruising, Chris. No rush. Stay in the right lane.
Or you might be Darlene from Duncan. dotting from lane to lane.
And there are different drivers on the road. There are different investors too.
Maybe you're cruising down the long-term lane with stock investing, or maybe you're a more advanced full-speed trader.
Well, the Robinhood app helps put you in the driver's seat wherever you're at in your investing journey.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/tboy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, all investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned by or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood. Great.
What a show.
What a show.
It's such a satisfying feeling.
It's an incredible feeling, this performance.
What a freaking...
Amazing. It's a great feeling. It's so satifying.
Can you think of
winning a game?
Another job? Yeah. Can you think of I guess
it's like we get to win. It's like we get to win a game every day.
Professional athletes have this feeling.
Every day we feel like we win.
Yeah, except professional athletes lose. You're right.
They lose. Physically, we're in the best shape of our lives.